Hello, Sat Shri Akal, everyone. You're watching Tabla with Amritpal Singh. My name is Amritpal Singh, and today we will be learning about posture and positioning of tabla. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. We will learn today what are the names of the bowls, how your hand positioning should be, and how your posture should be, how should you be sitting while you're playing tabla or while you're doing riyaz. Uh, the posture is also called batak. I was told by my ustads that batak is very important. People can judge you by your batak, how much tabla you know. And another thing that a lot of people don't say in their videos and all that you have to respect your instrument. You cannot disrespect it. And I was told by Ustad Sultan Khanji, that if you respect your tabla, you get or if you respect your instrument, you get the same respect back from that instrument too. So you can sit cross-legged, you know, or you can sit with your feet behind you, uh, and you can that way you'll be sitting on your knees. You're a little bit you have more control on the instrument when you're sitting like that. But you can sit cross-legged. That's also acceptable. And most of the people I have seen playing tabla, they sit cross-legged. Uh, there are two tablas, or there are two drums. One is called tabla, which is this, and one is called dagga, which is this one. This is a treble part, or madin, or female. This is nar, means male, or a bass. They're called a treble and bass based on their sound. This has a high pitched sound, and this has a deep and a low pitched sound. I will introduce you to the parts of tabla first. So when I'll be referring it to, saying siyahi or kinar, so that way you know what I'm trying to say. This outside ring here, this is called gajra, and then you have a strip here on top, right? This strip here, this is called kinar, or the edge of tabla. And then in between the siyahi, in between this black spot and the kinar, there's this white strip here. This is called maidan. And this black spot that's in the middle of tabla, that's called siyahi. And the siyahi, if you see, it has lots of rings on it, you know. So I'll mention why the rings are there. I'll probably later on I'll explain it to you. But for now, we just need to know kinar, maidan, siyahi, gajra. This is called baddi, or the strings. This is the shell. It's made out of wood. These are called gatte, or the pegs. And this is the binna, where the tabla rests, where the tabla sits. Now, the positioning of tabla is very important too. I have seen some ustads, they play like this, meaning their tabla is not in the center. As long as your body posture is not getting wrecked by it, this is acceptable. But I was taught it should be centered from nose. This should be centered from here. This tabla, the right side or the daya, it should be curved away from you. You can play like this, it would be very difficult, very hard. Because if you see, naturally your hand is not straight like this. You have to stiff it to make it straight. But naturally it is curved. So your tabla, it should be curved away from you, so your hand can sit curved on the tabla. Another thing I was told by my ustads was that when these two sit together, They should not be sitting away from each other like this. They should be close so that these gajras, both of the gajras, they are touching. The binnas should be close enough. Now, the positioning of hand. If we see imaginary divide the tabla in half like this, or in four quarters, 1, 2, 3, 4, your ring finger, it's very important. Your ring finger plays a very important role in positioning your hand onto the tabla. It should be placed in the middle of second quarter, and as I said, there are rings, circles on this syahi. It should not go past second or third circle, and it shouldn't be away from the syahi. So it should be like, let's say, second circle, and on the in the middle of the second quadrant, your pinky or your smallest finger can be beside it on the kinar, or some people I have seen they rest it on their gajra too. Both are equally good. You can do that. Now, if we see our hand like this, then your middle finger when we're playing stays up like this. All these three fingers stay down. Okay. Now, ring finger goes to the middle of the second quadrant. Pinky finger goes here. Middle finger goes up. Now this index finger. Now if you see, there are these I call these as finger pads. We have 1, 2, 3 divisions of a finger, and the first I call as a finger pad. So again, position it same way, middle finger up. This finger pad should be hitting on the kinar. When you're hitting on the kinar, you make sure you're not hitting with these two divisions, only the first one. If I show you, you see how much my finger is on the tabla. That's not right. It should be back. So only your first division is touching the kinar. Now, middle finger is up. These two are at their position. Your forearm, it shouldn't be like this. It shouldn't be like this. It should be parallel from here, parallel to the ground. And your elbows, I was told that when you're sitting cross-legged, they shouldn't be stretching out, too much, so that they are stretching out of your when you're sitting cross-legged. So, and they shouldn't be tucked into like this. So just normal. Down here, you can't do that. You cannot have this part of your palm touching the baddi here, because otherwise you will be playing like this. So this hand has to be up from your wrist and your forearm here. So position it again. The first bowl that is played with your with your index finger, it's called ta or na. It has two names, ta or na, na. What you have to do is, in the beginning, please do not worry about the sound, right? If the sound comes or no, because you don't have these muscles developed, so there might not be any sound. It might be like this. Doesn't matter, as long as your positioning is right, your posture is right, the sound will come. And I have another thing I want to add here too. Sometimes we think, oh, he's just a beginner, we can buy just a cheap tabla for him. He can wreck it very easily. He can wreck it anytime. No, I think when you're a beginner, you should have a decent tabla, because if your tabla is not right, you don't know how to create that sound, and your tabla is also has a very dull sound, you'll get discouraged when you don't get a sound. If your tabla is of good condition, of good quality, even if you don't know how to hit it right, you'll still get a good sound out of it. So that will encourage you a little bit. So try to buy, a good set when you're learning, when you're starting. Even if a parent is watching and they want to buy a tabla for their kid, make sure you buy a decent quality tabla. I'm not recommending a professional quality, but at least a decent quality tabla. Okay. Now, the first bowl, as I said, is ta or na. If you hear it, the bowl itself says ta. And I have seen some people doing this. They hit it and they lift the finger right away. Right? What I was told was that when you play ta, your finger should stay there. Ta, ta, or na, na, ta. At any time, your middle finger should not be touching your the syahi. Okay, let's see what happens. Now, same here. This is at middle of the second quadrant. This pinky finger stays with your third ring finger. Now, middle finger, if I put it down, let's say what happens. Doesn't matter how hard I hit, there won't be any ring sound to it. So the middle finger plays a big role. Excuse me. So middle finger stays up. Ta, ta, na, ta, na, ta, na. So this is the first bowl. The second bowl that I'm going to teach you is that starts with the middle finger now. See, ta, the position as you're playing ta, the hand stays the, your index finger stays on the kinar, your ring finger stays on the second quadrant of, or second quarter of the syahi, middle of the second quadrant, your pinky stays on the kinar again, your middle finger is up. Now remember I told you that imaginary half, this is your imaginary half, okay? Your middle finger should, if I put it down, it should be lying on the middle of it, or on the middle line that I created. So now T, T-I. If you hear the sound again, T, T, T. All your fingers should be down when you're playing. T shouldn't be like this. These fingers should not go up. All fingers should be down. T. And it does have a little bit of a ring sound to it. It's not like this. So it has a ring sound. And you're playing with the half of the finger pad, or half of the first division again. Okay? Half. You're not playing right here in the middle. You're only playing up to here. So, T, T. Now, we're gonna play Ta, Na, and Ti. Ta, again, middle finger up. Ta, Na, Ti. Ta, Na, Ti. Ta, Na, Ti. Another thing that I want to show you here, your thumb, it shouldn't be hanging like this. It goes up. When I'm lifting my finger, my index finger up to play ta, my thumb goes up too. Okay? It doesn't stay down and it doesn't stay out like this. So, ta, na, ti. Ta, na, ti. As I said, if you don't get any sound, don't get discouraged, please. Because this is hard sometimes, to get this sound out of it, because your muscles are not developed. Your muscles are not developed as yet. So you need to practice. You need to have these bowls played again and again in order for you to get better sound out of it. So ta, na, ti. Now the third bowl I'm going to teach you, which has two components in it. It's called te or te. Some people call it te or te. I write it like Tete. So there are two portions. These three fingers stay together and the index finger stays alone. So middle finger, ring finger and your pinky finger are together and this is alone. Again, as I said, the middle. If you see the syahi, there's a small circle in the middle. All your three fingers, starting with the middle finger, has to be right in the middle, then this follows, then this follows. Okay? This one, the index finger stays up. So te. Now, this one, these three fingers, you lift it up and they move away and your index finger comes in place to play the bowl. Te. If you hear it, the tabla, the sound itself says te. Now, tit should not be played, as I said, half. It should not be played back here in the second quarter or the first quarter. The sound won't be same. Or if you put your full hand, no, right in the middle here. Te. This is how it has to be played. Three fingers, one finger. Te. Now we will start from the beginning again. All bowls that we have learned so far. Position your fingers again. Your ring finger goes in the middle of second quarter. Pinky finger goes beside it. Middle finger up. Your ring finger or your index finger is gonna play on the kinar. So ta, na, ti, te, again. Ta, na, ti, te. Now, this is all we will learn today, and I hope this is this gives you some basic, and there are more bowls. This gives you some basic information, basic knowledge. There are more bowls that we are going to do on the right hand first and the left hand, and I'll post more videos teaching all the other bowls that we have to learn. If you have any question or suggestion, or you want to find out about something else, please leave a comment, and I will sure try to get back or try to answer to any of the comments that you have. Thank you for watching this video. Sat Sri Akal.